This Week in 40K.
Good morning or afternoon or evening or whatever, everybody. Welcome to This Week in 40K, your one-stop shop for what happened this week in the crazy world of 40K. We are the show that is all about the grimdark and is neither grim nor dark. I am Colin, and with me, as always, is Billy.
Hello, Colin.
Hi, Billy.
How are you in terms of 40K?
Oh. Well, unfortunately, due to situations beyond my control, I am going to have to take a break from traveling for 40K for the sake of my family. That's all I'm going to say at the moment. Everything's fine. Everything's going to be fine, but it's just something has happened, and I have to prioritize my family over everything else for a little while. I'm going to continue doing the shows, and I'm going to continue paying attention, but I'm not going to travel, which is going to be hard for me. As for 40K, I still think that the meta is in a really interesting spot. It continues to surprise me. I'm excited to see what happens over the next few months as we build up to what almost certainly is 10th edition. And I will be back for 10th edition. I'm not going anywhere. I just need to take a short break from spending money on 40K. So, yeah. How about you, Billy? What's going on with you?
I am actually back to, my about-to-be dad hammer level of 40K and hoping to ramp it up very briefly before the actual dadness sets in. For those who don't know, I'm expecting my first child at the end of April. But I have locked in on a Space Wolf list that I'm quite pleased with. It is a little bit weird and offbeat while still putting in all the units you would expect there to be. But I have, paint on my hands these days. My army is primed up, starting to be base coated, and getting some games in. So while a lot of people seem to be, Arc is fun, but 10th is on the horizon, what they have done in Arc scratches my 40K funny bone very directly. So I'm pretty enthusiastic about things, external life being crazy permitting.
Yeah. I think Arc is great. Yeah. I don't care for how killy it is, but I like it. Like that genuinely, I would like it if it was a little less murdery. It's a little high on the murder, and I would like it to be slightly less on the murder. It is very shooting centric, which is why I'm excited for the World Eaters, because I'm hoping that they're a competitive close combat army because we need more of those. So yeah, I think it's in a good spot, and I'm really excited to see where it goes from here. Should we head
really quickly, just on your point, want to hype the one thing that we did sort of in this feed, sort of in not this month in 40K?
Oh yeah,
which we did last Thursday, if
it's true.
Days are correct. I had a wonderful conversation with Alex McDougall and John Lennon about the meta as it is evolved in the past month. We hit on 8 list archetypes and then sort of threw the 3 that I skipped in at the end because they wanted to talk about GSC and Eldari. And that is available, I believe, still on YouTube for this feed. And it's going to be going away shortly because members need to get something good for themselves. But sincerely, I don't like hyping up things that I do because I'm a self-deprecating kind of person by nature. That was a phenomenal conversation. If you like competitive 40K, go listen to it. John and Alex are brilliant.
Yes. Fair. I think that is fair and reasonable. Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Now the do-do-do-do.
Now we're going to do the show? Okay, that sounds
great. No, now the do-do-do-do. For those who can't see.
Our top story.
So say, for those who can't see behind the scenes, I bop my shoulders every time we do that music because I find it fun.
Your internet connection, it is super questionable this morning. You are losing frames and having a hard time to hear at times. I don't think there's anything we can do about it. I'm just acknowledging it for the people.
Okay. Sorry, the people.
Yeah, the people, they are listening. Hey, Billy, what's our top story?
Our top story is what I'm terming the rise of the NPC factions. Am I calling Guard, GSC, and the oft-mocked loyalist Marines who are occasionally lumped in with Chaos Dark Angels as NPC factions? Yes, I am. But I think we're starting to see a rise of those factions to the top of the meta, overperforming their representation in the fields, hitting those X and ones, those T whips, those event wins, and you're starting to see which the actual top tier of the meta is. So Dark Angels, Guard, and a bit of a surprise coming into it, I would say. But when you think about what Colin said of the meta being super killy, GSC sneaking up there with this last week's of results.
Yeah, I actually think demons are really strong as well in this meta. And so we've seen some demon performances that have been really great. And so that's the thing that I'm going to be. We don't look at each other's events very much, so I'm excited to hear as Billy goes through his events if there's any demons in there. Yeah, I feel like they're a really strong codex that people are kind of just forgetting to talk about. The wound gating bloodthirster is a really good tool right now. Yes, Guard can ignore that wound gating, but they're ignoring that wound gating with like las guns and plasma guns. Like they're not ignoring it with their tanks. So the bloodthirster is a weird thing. Really good deep strike charging is really good right now. Yes, I know that Guard has an anti-deep strike aura, but you still have flamers and everything to kill their guardsmen. I think it's interesting. Maybe demons and Guard's a bad matchup for demons, but they have a pretty good matchup with everybody else. So I'm excited to see what happens there. I wish that the Dark Angels that are at the top of the meta were what I'm playing, where it's Ravenwing with some Terminators. What's that?
The events I'm going to talk about are much closer to what you are doing than last week's 40 Terminators.
I just am exhausted by the idea that 30 Terminators would be what's competitive. I hate everything about that. That's not good for the game. That's not fun to play. That's not a thing. So for me, at least, that's not a thing.
Wholeheartedly agree. Again, this month in 40K, we probably spent a quarter of the time talking about, and how do you deal with 40 Terminators? Because last week was 40 Terminators. And there are some answers. So do check that out. But to Colin's point, it's a killy meta, and that's like the one thing that people have found that's actually durable.
Right. Okay.
What's new?
What's new, Pussycat?
Quite a lot of stuff actually that GW is releasing and letting us know about, and new things that are not really that new, but sort of new. So first off, just because everyone other than me is really excited about Vashtor, the new Demon Prince guy, his box along with Dark Angels got previewed. I believe it should be up for pre-order this coming weekend. It's $210 for quite a bit of stuff, honestly, and especially if you're splitting that bad boy, getting half for about $100. It's a solid deal. Are you big on the Vashtor? Have you seen that guy?
No, I was just thinking that you should ask your doctor about Vashtor. I think Vashtor sounds very much like a prescription drug that you should take that will have 35 potential side effects.
One of which is always, if you are allergic to this drug, don't take this drug, which as a lawyer, I recognize that we make people say stupid things, but that strikes me as really high on the list of things that lawyers make people say that's stupid.
There's a couple drugs that have a line that I like better than that, which is, and pregnant women should not handle broken tablets for a specific kind of birth defect.
Yeah.
What? You can't take this.
Drugs.
Don't touch the tablets or your baby's going to be in trouble. Whoa.
Part of why I still have something of a hairline is that I took the testosterone pills to keep my hair because I started balding when I was 20. I'm not doing this. And it was definitely one of those pills. Stopped doing it well in advance of having my child, though. But anyway, and for those of you not in America, welcome to America. Other big things that are happening, something I just want to talk about, doesn't really impact the game, but I thought it was interesting. Games Workshop in the UK only at GW stores is going to do sprue and old plastic model recycling. Now, on the one hand, this is just a way for them to get more raw material to feed back into the grist mill. On the other hand, I recycle all my old sprues. this is a way for them to actually be recycled as opposed to potentially ending up in a landfill because the recycling folks don't know how to do their work. And if it comes to the rest of the world, I think that would be a good thing. But yeah, there's an article up on that on the GW website, especially if you're in the UK, certainly better than throwing your sprues in the trash. Although if you build cool sprue models, hold on to your sprues. New rules. Azrael got new rules. Was Azrael always a chapter master?
Well, Azrael's in the Codex. What are we talking about?
And today on GW website, there's a download for rules for Azrael. It's sitting right there in the outline if you want to click on it, Colin.
I missed it.
It happened this morning. I think it's what's coming in the Vashtor box, but he's 170 points now. And I'm saying that because it's a freely downloadable rule set. And he gets to be a chapter master on top of all of his old stuff, I believe.
He already was a chapter master.
Okay, then I don't know what is new here and why they're putting up this download.
If he's not a chapter master, who the hell is for the Dark Angels?
I don't know. Was Samuel? I sincerely don't know anything about Dark Angels.
Okay, I'm looking really quick to see if there's anything different. So far, I'm acknowledging nothing different. I think he's 170 currently. I don't think these are new rules.
Okay, well then GW just decided to put his data sheet up on the website for fun. Cool, enjoy.
Yeah, his sword might be better.
Was he Primaris before?
No. Is he Primaris now?
He's Primaris now, and that's what Andres Benitez says is he's getting one more wound, one more attack, and becoming Primaris.
All right, I see that. Thank you. That's yes, I see that now.
Okay.
I didn't notice the wound, but then the fact that he's not T5 seemed weird for being Primaris character. Aren't some of them T5? Maybe I'm confused.
I think just the Gravis armor ones are.
Well, I love that he's getting Primarified because I'm using a metal model from the before times, from when the rings were originally forged.
Yeah, and there will be a lot of him wandering around available for purchase because
he's real good.
Well, he's real good, but I'm just saying, for your metal model from the before times, there will be lots of the new plastic just because it's in the box, and you only need one of him. Moving on, the
Vashtor.
The Strike Force Agatis, the new Primaris Devastators and Dreadnought, their rules also got released along with points. 200 points for the Dreadnought with double multi-melta. It's pretty pricey, and 185 for the Devastators. In pre-arc, those were points that would be spicy. In current arc, I'm not so sure.
Also, I don't understand the guns on those guys. Like, I understand that they're from the fifth element. Like, I'm fine with that.
Sure.
And I understand that they're holding this ridiculous gun that some people like. Also fine with that. It's a model. Who cares? I don't understand why the rules are appealing in a Marine Army. Like, they're just simply not rules that I'm excited about by looking at their guns, and certainly not for 185 points.
If they were pointed, so you can get a Devastator squad with anything but multi-meltas for 115 points. If they were 125, even 135, the Primaris aspect, so like you could transhuman them, you could do some things, and I do think their guns are just good guns, absent points. I might be interested in look at them in that role.
Right.
But at 185 in modern Marine points, it's just not.
For all of you conspiracy theorists out there who think that GW purposely points to get us to buy new models,
not here.
No, almost never. Right? Whenever they bring new things out, I would say that when they release a new kit and rules, that there is an 80% chance that it's too expensive for points. Maybe it's only 70%. Maybe it's 7 out of 10. It might be 8. It's a lot. Like, have you guys seen the bunker on the table that they made that's for Space Marines? Have you seen the ATVs on the table it was discovered that they can't be resurrected by apothecaries? Like,
one of my lists has an ATV later on.
Okay, great.
One ATV.
All right. Okay. All right,
yes.
What else?
I believe there's a new Farsight model. I'm not familiar with Tau, and I will admit all of the Tau, I can't tell their models apart from each other. This commander and that commander, I just keep
That's so racist. Do we have to say things like that?
Yes, fish people are not people; they're fish people. Okay. But we love you, Tau players.
Abalone.
Yes, Tau players, you're good people. Tau in the fictitious 40k universe, you're fish. That's fine. And there are a ton of new combat patrols coming out. Take a look at what your faction has. Those things are often very good values. There might be a new Snickrot model in the Orc one. It seemed to suggest there was, but similarly, like, who can tell what an actual Orc model is versus what the Orc player kit bashed? So the fact that there's a new base for it, awesome. Orc players have fun turning that into your own unique Snickrot.
Good.
And that is all of the new stuff. There's a lot. GW is just coming out with things.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, here we go.
What's winning?
I'm going to say Gus. Gus is winning.
Oh, is Gus?
It occurs to me that when Gus gets up in the morning and he comes and lays here on the guest bed for hours and hours and hours, snoring and moving him around and everything, it occurs to me that he might be living a better life than us.
I mean, Lilu is doing something similar. I can't quite as easily pan to her, and my apartment is not clean enough, so my wife would kill me. But yeah, our pets lead better lives than we do. That's just unimpeachably true.
Yeah, it is. So what's winning? We have a lot of tournaments to talk about, but we allowed ourselves a bunch of time today, so that should be great. Okay, so first of all, I'm amused by how many nicknames cities have. Let's just cover that for just a moment. Seattle is the rainy city. It's the Emerald City. It's Jet City. Like, it has all of these names that we use for all of these different events, and people from around the world will be like, I don't know what that is. I feel similarly about Houston City having Clutch City GT. Is it Clutch City? I've never heard that before.
I've heard of that event name before.
Sure.
I will do some quick Googling on why is Houston Clutch City.
All right. So first of all, it is a 131-player tournament in Houston, Texas that went for 6 rounds. The first person that we're going to talk about here is Mr. Nick Rose. I think that Nick took the majority of the end of 9th edition off. I think he was gone for most of last year and is back. I think I saw that on my Facebook. So welcome back, Nick. I also think I saw that they're selling their house. So go see if you want Nick's house.
Okay.
So Gene Stealer Colt, and as you'd expect, this is a mixed group that has. Oh no, actually, this is Pauper Princes. I apologize, Nick. When I looked at it before, I thought it was a mixed cult. So he's got an Icon Ward and a Magus and a Primus. That's pretty normal. People haven't been taking the Patriarch, which makes me sad as a GSC player. Then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of 5 Acolytes. Then he's got a unit of 10 Acolytes with the heavy rock drills. Then he's got a unit of 1, 2, 3, 4 20-man units of Neophytes. And he likes the seismic guns and the grenade launchers, which is interesting. I like the flamers and the seismic cannons is my vibe, but he's vibing on the grenade launchers, and grenade launchers inherently are cool in real life and in games, so I think it's fine. Biophagus, weird. You almost never see the Biophagus in the list, to the degree that I don't know what he's doing with it.
Okay.
2 units of 10 bikes. So this is 10 bikes, 80 Neophytes, which is very much the meta. But instead of another 10 bikes, he's taking a crap load of 5-man Acolytes. That's basically his take on this. What I think is really interesting is taking Pauper Princes, which is additional punch, instead of taking the custom traits that everybody else is taking. I think that's a really interesting change. So Good job, Mr. Nick Rose, who I've met before, and it was quite kind to me.
Mm-hmm. Very quickly, while you're pulling up the next one, Houston is called Clutch City due to the Houston Rockets winning the 1994-95 NBA championships, adopted in response to a front-page headline in the Houston Chronicle declaring Houston to be Choke City. James Harden and the 2017's missed 27 three-pointers have something to say about that nickname.
See? Come to the show, stay for the education.
And the Golden State Warriors trash talk.
That's the basketball, is it?
That's the basketball. There was some niche shade that I just threw in there that potentially no one listening to this will understand, but if they do, know that, as a Warriors fan, I love you too.
I'm excited to
Okay.
talk about second place.
It's an interesting set of faction and result.
Jake Gonzalez, who is from the BAMF team, which I'm amused by. I hope that their wallets all say that. Rather than getting shirts, they could just get wallets. Okay. So he's got himself some Goths. Now, Goths are the only clan that we've been seeing from orcs. So that's not surprising. He's got Makari. Makari is a mofo. Like, fine. Nob on Smash a Squid, okay. Beast Boss on Squigosaur, okay. Boss Exar, okay. Gaz, okay. Those are all completely normal. 3x10 Beast Snega Boys. Beast Snega Boys are becoming very popular because they hit extremely hard. And for 100 points, they're just durable enough to not die to a stiff breeze. They often are hiding inside of vehicles. And so when they jump out of the vehicle, or when the vehicle dies, they try to hide somewhere and then run at you. Like I said, they hit much harder than you expect them to. In this list, I suspect they're inside of the battle wagon and the 2 kill rigs. Then the thing that's all meta. Usually that's with commandos and storm boys from what we've been seeing. But this particular list has 15 of the dudes on squigs.
Oh, piggies.
I don't value those. In my experience, they are relatively easy to move block because they're cavalry, and then they die. They don't like bullets.
No.
But I am not an orc expert. So clearly you should not take my word for it. Certainly I like those models. So
as a pig dad, I concur.
Yeah. Third place is Custodes. And I know that Custodes are good, guys. I get it. I'm still surprised when they finish this high at this big of an event, because to me, at some point, Custodes are going to sit down on the table and there's going to be guard or some ridiculous thing across from them, and they're going to say, okay, all your stuff is gone. So he is playing himself the Emissaries Imperatus, which we've seen a little bit of recently. I didn't say his name. I should say his name. This is Carmina Batista. Knight Centura, Shield Captain on bike. We get that. Trajan, okay. Then, as you know, there's like 4 data sheets that are good in this codex, and it's going to be some combination of them. He's rocking 2 units of the Custodians, 1 big unit of Wardens, of Vexillus Praetor, and then he's got 1, 2, 3 units of Custodians, a unit of Praetors that's slightly bigger. No, actually 3 as well. And Inquisitor Cotiers. So I don't even know where all of his points are. Oh, I see. The unit of 10 Wardens is 500 points. My mistake. Wow. Okay. So congrats to Carmina on going 3rd. One more list we're going to talk about from this event is 4th place. And 4th place is Kit Smith Hanna, who's from SF40K, which I'm presuming is from San Francisco, but I know it's not. Maybe it's from Santa Fe.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. He is playing demons. Like we talked about, demons are quite good. It's Chaos Undivided, which you'd expect. He's got Fate Weaver, which is always fun to see. He's got Shalaxi and Transweaver. Those are a different 3 HQs than we often see, but there's no mistakes there as far as I know. 2x10 Demonettes. Demonettes continue to be the cheapest OBSEC option for demons. They have a lot of attacks. They're on small bases, so they're pretty hideable. I like them. I love Nurglings in every edition. This has 2x3 Nurglings, 2x3 units of 5 Fiends. We're seeing them a lot. 3 Flamers, 5 Fleshhounds, which also have Flamers. Exalted Seeker Chariot. Chuck plays with that. It's got good shooting and good punch and can hide behind people. And then 2 Skull Cannons, which, as we've talked about before, do a little bit of shooting while they're walking towards you to punch them with their cannon.
Yep.
And that, I'm going to give myself a self 5. I did a really good job on that one. All right, moving on. Self 5. Moving on to Game of Westeros 14, which is an impressive name for a tournament, if we're being honest with ourselves. It's in Vastmenlands,
which is
Sweden.
A wonderful place name.
Yes. So far I like everything that's happening.
What happens when you live in vast man lands? Can you be a small man who lives in vast man lands? I just crushing it, Sweden, with the place names.
When I mute to blow my nose, Billy is really bad at
Vamping.
At vamping for time, because it always takes you a moment to realize that's what you need to do.
Surprisingly, in that case, I truly just wanted to go on a rant at vast man's land. I saw it last night doing the outline, and I was just excited.
I presumed that it's really spread out.
Oh, so it's referring to the land, not to the men?
Well, that the mans
Uh-huh.
are spread out vastly. Okay.
Oh,
Sweden,
okay,
we love you. You always give us great tournaments to talk about. I myself have a huge amount of Norwegian in me. Try not to hold that against me. So Sebastian Larson, who's from the Westeros team, he has rocked the first place finish of 5-0, excuse me. And this is 20-0, by the way. He got 20, 17, 18, 17. That is dominant. That is a very good tournament. And he played, now his team is called the Casque de Nectar, I think. This is Sebastian Larson, right? I'm not getting my list confused.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, Sebastian Larson. It is literally what I just said. So this is Chaos Knights. I don't understand what's happening with his list. It appears to be missing a lot of information. But he has 3 War Dog Executioners, 3 Brigands, 3 Stalkers, and an Executioner. I don't know what his anything is because it doesn't say, which is weird. I don't know what to make of that. Oh, it says it's a mixture, I think. He's got, no, they all say, I don't know. Sorry, everybody.
They're iconoclasts. They're herpatrax.
Okay.
His ears maybe cut off on the side. He typed this list out as opposed to having it be an export from BCP.
Okay.
Which is a non-BCP.
Chaos Knights going 5-0 is really interesting because I think that they're still good, but there are armies that, man, are they in trouble against. In particular, a good guard player is going to say, "Ha, no." So that's certainly a thing. But congrats. Maybe he played guard. I should look at that before I say things that are that bombastic, if you will. Second place is Christian Olafsson, another fantastic name. Christian was playing himself some Dark Angels. Weird. And he's got himself a Primaris Chappie on bike, which is really interesting. Mando, I love that guy. I just wish I could justify him in more lists with his desire to take CP and his costing of 135 points. I often don't get to fit him. He's got 2 Talon Masters. The Arbiter's Gaze is extremely strong. He does not have Rights of War on one of the Talon Masters, which I think is interesting. Samael's cool. His big advantage is he can keep up with the Black Knights. Mm-hmm. This list has no Terminators, so he probably makes a bit more sense than Azzy. Azzy gives an invul to all the attack bikes on the first turn in the Black Knights, which I think is a big deal. But maybe he's got better terrain, so he doesn't need to worry about that. Then a Ravenwing Apothecary with the Selfless Healer and the Reliquary of the Repentant, right? Then 2 units of 10 Black Knights. 2 units of 9 Black Knights. Black Knights are so fast. They shoot hard. They punch pretty good for this army. 3 attacks each with strength 5, AP 1-2 damage is pretty cool. Then he's got 9 multi-attack bikes. He's got a unit of 3 bikers and then 2 units of 3 outriders. So basically, my list is this without the normal bikes and with Vengeance Speeders and Terminators. And I have 1 less unit of Black Knights. This is a great list. It's very fast. It shoots incredibly hard. And I give him a massive internet high five for not taking Terminators and still rocketed out with this list. So he went 4-1. Then next, did we already talk about the Demons player, or did I get out of order?
No, I think you jumped from first to third. You talked about Tim Norden's list, and now back up to Christian Olafsson's list.
I apologize, Christian and Tim. I did not intend to do that. I don't see the list, so I might have to open it again. Yeah, I'll open it again. It's all good. Hold on. Let's all look at it for the first time together as a group.
Lovely.
All right, group. Here we have Be'lakor, Changecaster, Scarbrand, Franks Weaver. 2x10 Demonettes, 2x3 Nurglings. Hey, this sounds familiar. Exalted Flamers are dope. Everyone should be taking them. He's got one. 2x3 Fiends, 5, 4, 3. Hold on. 6, 5, 3.
Yeah.
Flamers and a unit of 3 Screamers, which Chuck promises are absolutely a trash unit that no one should be taking. So that's Olafson. What's that?
I was going to say, one of the things that John Lennon brought up on this month in 40K, the Fiend's purpose is to clear out deep strike screens. And I think the Screamers are a similar sort of a thing. They could go in and do some decent work against some infiltrators.
Okay.
Because, that would be their purpose.
Okay. Chuck didn't have luck with that, but he's also not John Lennon. So,
well, very few of us are.
Right. Only a couple of us, and some of them are dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not supposed to make John Lennon jokes, but I thought that was a particularly good one.
Yeah,
he's not happy with the jokes. He's been John Lennon his whole life. Okay, Joel Larson, Adeptus Custodes. He went 4-1. His one loss, by the way, he got a 9. So that is simply a good tournament. And he's rocking Custodes again. This is the Emperor's Chosen, which is more common to see. Shield Captain and Trajan, you expect that. By the way, Custodes players, is there ever any variance in what the Shield Captain on Daniel Jetbike takes? Let me know if you want me to be more specific on that. Whenever I see him, I just notice that he has a paragraph of text that's 4 or 5 lines.
There's a way
and
to
I
make
just move
him
on.
Super unkillable or super killy or split the difference. I don't know what any of the words that lead to that is, but that's what he can do.
Sorry, kid emergency.
Okay.
Okay. 2 units of 3 custodians, 3x3 custodians. Oh, sorry. 2x3 guard squads with spears. 3x3 Sagittarium with their cool guns. Another unit, 2 units of 60-point custodians. I love that unit because it's the cheapest thing they have and it can just do stuff. 2 units of 3 Wardians, a Venerable Contemptor Dreadnought, 3 Praetors, and 5 Witch Seekers. So, congrats for another Custodes finish. 3rd place is Dice Hammer. I'm confused. Where's the Canadian? Oh, there it is. I thought the Berry Bash was bigger than it was.
Nope.
Dice Hammer. Dice Hammer is an Irvine, California tournament with 75 players. Irvine's near LA, I believe, not San Francisco. So this is the LA meta, right?
Yep.
Okay. I've been to Irvine before, but it was for work. So
beautiful UC campus down there.
Oh, all right. First up is our new friend, Kevin Roach. We actually don't know Kevin at all. Kevin is interesting because this tournament, easily 50% of the players are from Xenos Petting Zoo. Mm-hmm. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th are all Xenos Petting Zoo. But not him. He has no team. He says, no, Xenos Petting Zoo, you will not get me. You will not pull me in like the Borg has done to so many people in our area. I really thought that was going to be funny, Billy, but then no reaction from you makes me think
I thought it was a strong statement on where you place Xenos Petting Zoo in the Star Trek meta. I guess they're just assimilating a lot of folks. Certainly in this meta they are. My understanding is they're the dominant in terms of participation SoCal team.
Right. Black Templars has won this event. What? When? Why? Okay, sure. I like Black Templars. You like Black Templars, Billy?
I love Black Templars. Black Templars benefit from what happened in Ark of Omens because they can get some very interesting set of free stuff. And the army-wide invuln is a nice thing that gets that with some other spice they can puts them just onto the durable side enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Grimaldus, he is a mofo, as people know. Helbrecht, also good. Chappie on bike, woo! As previously stated, I love him. And then Lieutenant, because Got to put one in. Rights of War. Incursor unit instead of infiltrators. I don't know what to make of that, but okay. Then 2 units, big old units of 10 Crusaders. 3 units, 5 units, excuse me, of 10 Crusaders. Then 2 by 1 5 and 1 6 of aggressors. I actually really love aggressors right now. A unit of 4 servitors to stand on the home objective. Terminator, is it really only 30 points for 4 servitors? I should really do that. Terminator Assault Squad, which is interesting, probably doing the deep striking and the charging and the punching, I would think.
Yeah.
And a unit of Eradicators. Fantastically cool list. Big shout out to Kevin Roach. Really, really neat list. Fun to see Black Templars do well.
Yeah.
Next up is Jason McKenzie from Xenos Petting Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
And he is rocking out with Tau, right? Did I get my list mixed up again? No, that's right.
Yep.
That's right. Mr. Tau, Borkin. Interesting. Borkan is the one that gets slightly more strength on its guns, I believe. Commander Skatic in Cold Star Battlesuit. And I don't know who he is, but he's got a cool name. Ethereal Shasakai. I'm sorry, guys, we can't know every army. I don't know who these special characters are from Tau.
It's possible these are fun fluff names.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm with you.
I think. Unless there's special stuff in a Forge rulebook I don't know about.
All right. 10 Breachers, 10 Kurtz, 10 Kurtz, a big unit of Crisis battlesuits, Firesight Marksman. Everybody has names. You're right. The Farsight Marksman's name is Fionn. 3 units of 5 Crude Hounds, 4 Crude Hounds, excuse me. A unit of 2 Tetris Scout Speeders, a unit of 5 Vespids, a unit of 5 Vespids, a broadside, 3 broadsides and a hammerhead, and Skyray Gunship. I'm going to give this gentleman, whose name is Jason McKenzie, a incredible high five for making a list that I don't know that has a whole bunch of things you don't normally see, and everybody's got cool names. Big shout out there. I'm sorry that we don't have better Tau analysis for you top players out there.
Yeah.
Steven Corrales. He also has Dark Angels. Dark Angels, real good. I'm out of order again. Guard is next.
No, Steven Corrales in third.
Really?
According to BCP?
Yes, but Steven Corrales played guard. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on here. I got tabs missing.
I clicked on Steven Corrales listed as Dark Angels.
Oh. Well, the person who made the spreadsheet to show what we're doing has guard in third place.
He does. Yes, that is correct. So that's just a flip-flop.
Okay. So Steven Corrales. Steven's got himself Dark Angels. He's got himself Azzy and 2 Talon Masters. That's what I take. He's got Rights of War and Arbiter's Gaze. That's also what I take. A unit of 5 Infiltrators. Also true. This is where he differs from me. Blade Guard Ancient, I don't differ there. 2 units of 10 Terminators, an Apothecary, 2 by 3 attack bikes, an ATV, a Landspeeder Tornado, and a Thunderfire Cannon. I don't know what that Thunderfire Cannon's doing, but it's rocking itself out at 120 points, chilling in the back. This is very similar to what I've been playing. I take Black Knights instead of the 2nd unit of Terminators. And then I have, instead of a Vengeance, a Tornado, and a Thunderfire, I have 2 Vengeance Speeders. So basically this list is doing the aggressive fast shooting, but it also has 2 units of Terminators that are just incredibly hard to kill. They're OPSEC. They're holding the table while you're dealing with the fast shooting. Dark Angel's really good because they're a mixture of speed, offensive power, and durability that's really hard to deal with. Okay. This is 4th place, and 4th place is guard. Yes?
I believe so. Jason Kavetsky.
All right. Jason Kavetsky's got himself the first guard list I have talked about, I think. Certainly today. He's got a Cadian command squad. Okay, fine. That's normal. It has the things. Okay. Deathcore Marshal, Lord Solaris, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of 10 Cadians. He has them with 2 melta-guns each. I believe that Games Workshop has errated now that you have to have a mixture of guns in those units, which is hilarious. So they're going to have to be plasma gun, melta-gun in each unit.
Fun.
Commissar, which is all that does is make the unit slower to shoot. It's literally all it does. Commissar, and then 2 units of 10 Karsakins with the weaponry you'd expect, except that he took plasma guns. If you're going to use the strat, don't take the plasma guns. If you think you're not going to have the CP to use the strat very often, then I would take the plasma guns. I like, if you're going to run 2, I find that I only have CP for 1. Sorry, we keep talking about armies that I actually play or know really well. What I like to do is 1 unit of Karsakins that's all the flashlights, so that with the Barbican's key, so they can go over and do as many mortals and AP2 saves as possible. I like the second unit to have the melta guns and the plasma guns, because you're not going to necessarily have that strat, and it's still a really inexpensive unit for that shooting. Okay. 1 Scout Sentinel. Scout Sentinels are great. I'd take more than that, but that's me. Clearly, he did well with this. I just think that you need to hold the table against things like demons. That's all. But he's also got 60 guardsmen that are just going to run out on turn 1 and be like, hey, we're in the way. 2 units of 3 mortars, and then Russ, Dorn. And I'm just seeing if there's anything unusual about... He does have hunter-killer missiles. That's kind of fun to see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are all the weapons you'd expect to see, the plasma on the Russes, etc. So good job to the potentially one and only... Jason Kavetsky. And those are my events. I'm going to step away and make sure that my kids are going to school. And I'm going to hand off to Billy to talk about the MidCon in Viborg, Denmark.
Excellent. I have no kids who have to go to school yet. So I will be here, and I will tell you about what Sebastian Ilfelt did at the MidCon GT Viborg in Denmark. Sebastian brought sisters. Sebastian brought Bloody Rose sisters. And what Sebastian did with that you have not seen regularly is he had a Triumph. He had 9/5/5 Sacrosants, and the rest is what you do with Bloody Rose. More of involved, the normal characters, Repentia, Zephyrim, Seraphim, Retributors. Good job, Sebastian. I am honestly surprised that Sisters did this well. I think the Armor of Contempt change without the points that Marines got hit them very hard, and so that is an impressive showing by Sebastian. Next, we have Henrik Davison with Dark Angels. And the thing that we saw this week that we did not see last week with Dark Angels writ large, last week was all about how many Terminators you can shove into lists. This week with Dark Angels is a little bit more of a mixed bag of Terminators and fast stuff. I am not clear as to whether that is a natural evolution or that list locks happened before last week's results took place. And so we're not really sure which is the best direction. The mixed lists are certainly the more complicated to prepare for because they present more diversified threats and diversified speeds, whereas the all Terminator list is literally just a brick that moves forward and you can't kill it. That said, that's my analysis there. And so what Henrik Davison brought, 2 Talon Masters, Sammy, 5 and 5 Infiltrators, only 10 Terminators, 10 Black Knights, 9 multi-melt attack bikes, 2 Tornadoes. I feel badly for Colin that he's not here to hear. Welcome to homonyms in English. That particular list, because I think it's right up his alley. In fact, might be exactly what he took. But it's, one of the logical places to end up with Dark Angels. So good job, Henrik. Morton Horby brought Chaos Demons, Bellicor Bloodthirster, Lord of Change Changecaster, 10 Bloodletters, 10 Blues, 3 Nurglings, 15 Flamers, 3 units of 5, and 5 Corn Dogs, which I'm embarrassed as to how old I was before I realized that they're just Corn Dogs. If anyone wants to win a hobbying prize, convert corn dogs into the food corn dog. I would just love that in so many ways. We have Andreas Holm Hagard with Orcs in 4th place. Goths. This is much closer to what Colin was. Well, no. Well, Starts off much closer to what Colin was describing with Goths. 2 war bosses, 1 on bike, 1 on foot. 30 boys, 20 Gretchen, 5 and 5 commandos, 5 and 5 storm boys. This is where it gets a little spicy. A unit of 3, a unit of 2, a unit of 1, Def Dreads, 5 Ludas, and a custom Stampa. You very rarely see custom Stampas winning, but you do see custom Stampas making it near the top, and custom Stampas just go straight into my heart. The conversions that people do on those things are gorgeous and enjoyable, and Orc players in general are going to give you a good time. If they bring a custom Stampa, I believe you're going to have fun. I'm just going to make a blanket statement about that. We have a Colin back, so he can start riffing back on me. Talking about Friedrich Larson.
I'm riffing.
He's just a much more musical man than I am, and it's
I'm just riffing.
Yeah, that's true. See, I lack that ability. Frederick Larson with Dark Angels in 5th place. Again, a little bit more of that diversified portfolio of Dark Angels. Brought Azrael, Talon Master, Champion Apothecary, 5 Infiltrators and an Ancient, 20 Terminators, 10 Knights, and then 3 units of 5 Devastators with combinations of grav guns and missile launchers. No drop pod, just hanging out in the back, launching stuff downrange. Interesting choice there by Frederick. And that is the Midcon Viborg GT. Or Midcon GT and Viborg, excuse me. The 9th Barry Bash in Barry, Canada. This one was 65 players, 5 rounds. Some familiar names to the North American scene. Sam Procopio won with Blood Angels because that's really all Sam does. He just wins with Blood Angels. Little bit of spice from Sam here. Most of the normal stuff: Chapter Master Priest, 15 Infiltrators, 5 Death Company, an Ancient, 15 Sangers, a bunch of Inferno pistols in that. He had Scouts in a Storm, 5 Anvets with more Inferno pistols, 2 units of 5 Assault Marines with more Melta. And then he had 2 Helverns because long range shooting is good along with short range melting. You can jam a lot of Melta on jump pack dudes in Marines these days. And they don't have to wear red. They can wear Space Wolf blue. That's your friendly reminder. 2nd place, Gene Stealer Cult, TJ Lanigan, 80 Neophytes, 2 units of 5 hybrids. Those hybrids are the super punchy, muscle beachy dudes.
Acolyte hybrids are just acolytes.
Okay, so tiny little nothing people.
Yeah.
10 Pure Strains, 3 units of 9 bikes, and then like all of the characters that Gene Stealer Cult can take. I don't know what their names are. I don't know what they do. He brought like 10 characters. But this is the 80 Neophytes list. 2nd place, we have Dustin Henshaw.
Hold on. Slow down. Anytime Dustin Henshaw is brought up, I have to remind everyone that he is an incredibly amazing human who I have a man crush on. Please continue.
Dustin, I would love to meet you one day. I am open to man crushing on a wide variety of people.
I went to the Canhammer team tournament. He was my round 5 opponent. We had the most incredible game of 40K and the affection we had for each other immediately. Talk about laughing at each other's jokes. I didn't think our game was going to get done. So I have a great affection for Dustin. We've been trying to get him out to Charity Hammer, but he keeps doing things like getting sick and having kids and like doing stuff that gets in the way.
That whole real life thing, Dustin, I feel you.
Yep, no kidding.
Gene Stealer Cult, 12 units of Acolyte hybrids. So 60 Acolyte hybrids in 12 units. Boy, is that taking up a lot of space. 9 bikes, 3 rock grinders, 4 trucks, and again, just a laundry list of characters. I would have truly no idea how to play against that army. 4th place, Mark Wang with Custodes, Emperor's Chosen, 1 Voidsman, Bike on Captain Trajan, 3 and 3 Sagittarum, 1 and 1 Alaris, 1 and 1 Achilles Dreadnought with guns, not melee, and then 9 bikes. You're not going to see a lot of models out of Custodes. This certainly leans into that, but boy, are they probably hard to kill these days. And then 5th place, Devin Swan with Guard. That command squad, Pony Boy and a Tank Commander. I was interested that Colin's list didn't have the Tank Commander because you see the Tank Commander a lot.
Colin's list?
The one you talked about, the Guard.
I was going to point out that I'm pretty sure he's a Tau player, so he might have just been like, hey, that army Tau's better than mine.
Yes,
which I think is a completely fair take for Guard.
Yeah, so 10 Cadians, 30 Kazarkins, 2 Scout Sentinels, 9 Mortars, 3 Lehman Russ, and a Torox, and then a Tempestus detachment with the HQ and 3 Scion squads. You know, Guard has about 14 to 1,500 points. That's relatively locked. Do your last 500 for Spice. Devin chose Scions. And that is the Berry Bash. I got 10 minutes and 2 events. I don't have to Micro Machines Man voice here. That's exciting.
You have 8 minutes.
Still no Micro Machine Man voice. The CAG Bash 16 in Hamilton, Ohio.
All there is to do in Ohio is drink, so this makes sense.
Yes, and cheer for football teams that perennially disappoint in all aspects.
And with pretentious names like the Ohio State. Okay.
Yes.
There's a lot of people in Ohio. I don't know that we need to offend them. Let's continue on.
I was going to say we mock because we love and are jealous.
Yeah.
Garrett Stacy, first place with Death Guard. That I will admit to being surprised by. You don't necessarily see Death Guard. To our point earlier in the show, it's a very killy meta. Death Guard's thing is durability. I am surprised that they were durable enough to do it, but Garrett did it. Demon Prince, 2 Plague Casters, 5 and 5 Plague Marines, 10 and 10 Poxwalkers, 10 Blight Lord Terminators. That is a tough thing to shift. Foul Blightspawn and Tallyman, because you should. 3 of the melee drones and 3 Plague Burst Crawlers. So largely things we've seen before, piloted well by Garrett, so congrats. Second place, a name that a friend of mine pointed out because he loved it, Folger Piles. Folger, you have a wonderful name. Folger brought Yanari, relatively straightforward Yanari list. Warlocks, Farseer Incarn, 5 and 5 Rangers, 5 and 5 Banshees, 5 Scorpions, 5 Hellions. That's why my friend brought it up. He's been talking about a Hellion Inari list for years now. 3 Spears, 3 and 3 Shroudrunners, a Falcon, 3 D-Cannons, and then a Twilight Patrol with a Shadow Seer, a Solitaire, and 5 troops. This list does not want to see mortars on the other side of the table, but is relatively fine with a lot of the other things. And Folger, just your name is in my heart. Colin's request that World Eaters show up happens here. Kevin Leonard brought Lord Invocatus, Lord on a Piggy, 20 Berserkers in 4 units of 5, 15 8-bound in 3 units, 9 Exalted 8-bound in 3 units, 3 Spawn, and 2 Rhinos. So not a lot of data sheets in that book. The lists are largely solved, it seems, and this is pretty much it. But that runs right at your face and punches you very, very, very hard. So good job by Kevin. Fourth place, Sam Dayton brought Space Wolves. Captain on Bike, Chaplain, just a regular Chaplain, no way to go fast. Librarian, 2 units of 5 Infiltrators and a Judiciary. 10 Scouts that fit into 2 Storms. 15 Terminators and 3 units of 5. All Melt-A-Guns, and then good weapons spread around, chain fists, thunderhammers, that sort of thing. 5 Wolfen, 2 Tornadoes, and 1 Skyclaw unit, the 6 with the 4 Meltas that you see. As we talked about on this month, Space Wolves are how much short-range damage can I shove into a list? This would be like a 2,900 point list in the old times. So good job by Sam.
Merely 50% free stuff.
Yeah.
I guess that'd be a third free stuff. I did the math the wrong direction.
It is a lot of free stuff, and they hit hard and a little bit more flexible than some people might give them credit for. I don't know. I'm big on space puppies right now. Fifth place, Nathan Gould, back to the Black Templar. Black Templar are good in Arc. Nathan brought Grimaldus Helbrecht Bike Chaplain, normal characters for that chapter, 5 and 5 Infiltrators, a unit of 12 Primaris Crusaders, 3 Assault Centurions, which just right in the lovey feels, and kind of spicy because they get an invuln in Black Templars. He brought an Invictor and 2 Redemptors, so trying to ultra memes with your Black Templars, kind of fun. 5 Chainfist Stormbolter Terminators, which I imagine Deep Strike, and he has a very specific purpose for them because that's a idiosyncratic loadout. An Assault Squad. This is where the Multi-Multa ATV that I mentioned showed up. And then Nathan just decided, I'm playing Black Templar, so there should be a Land Raider Crusader in it. Because there should be. So good job by Nathan. That was the CAG Bash 16. Final event, 4 minutes. I got this. Corsair Open GT in München, Germany. Won by Christopher Jackish with Inari. This is a list that Colin and I are very familiar with. Warlocks, Autarch, Farseer, Incarn. 10 Rangers, 2 units of 5. 9 troops with all of the weapons. 5x5 Banshees and 5 Scorpions. Some more Warlocks. 3 Shining Spears. 3 and 3 Shroud Runners. A Falcon. And 6 D Cannons. An army straight out of Nephilim that did wonderfully there and wonderfully here under Christoph's piloting. Second place, Nicholas Lackner with Dark Angels. Heard that quite a few times this week. Ezekiel, 2 Talon Masters and Sammy, 10 Infiltrators, an Ancient, 20 Terminators, 2 units of solo multi-melta attack bikes, and 3 Vengeances. So back to that slightly more diversified threat portfolio. We'll see in coming weeks whether it's the all Terminators or the diversified that makes sense. Nicholas Berg brought Drukari. First time we've said that in a while. And I'm interested in Drukari because I think they can do some fun MSU offense stuff. Nicholas brought an Archon Drazar, 30 Corsairs, which is not something you see all the time. 15 or ever, 15 Incubi, 2 Ravagers, 3 Raiders, and then a Strife detachment with a Succubus, Witches, Mandrake, and 3 Venoms. So, looks similar on the other side of the table. Other than those Corsairs, that's some cool spice by Nicholas. Roman Kleber brought Leagues of Votan, the Greater Thurian League, with the Forge Master and the named character, which is why you bring the Greater Thurian League. 5 Berserkers, 2 units of 5 Hearthguard, 3 units of 3 Bikes, 3 Thunderkin, and 2 Land Fortresses. Leagues of Votan, biggest difference from previewed rules to actual performance on the table I think we will ever see, and I think that's a good thing. But good job, Roman. And then finally, Max Nitschinger with Custodes, Emperor's Chosen. By Captain Trajan, 3 Custodians, 1 by 1 Alaris, and I must be missing some things because even for Custodes, that's not enough stuff. So give me a second to just find out what I'm missing from Max's list. Here we go. Vexillus Praetor Vigilators, which I imagine are some of the normal dues they can bring, and then 9 bikes. And 9 bikes will eat up. Or no, excuse me, 3 Venatari and 6 bikes. That's another, 900 points. And that's where the missing points were. And that is all the events that are fit to speak about this week.
Good job, Billy.
I have my skills.
Yeah. One of them is talking quickly because Colin hasn't allowed you enough time.
No, because Colin has gone into deep and insightful analysis that is valuable to all of the listeners. And then Billy just reads a bunch of words.
Fair enough.
Yes.
I'm curious. Because you're a lawyer.
Yes.
How frustrating are lawyer TV shows?
We just sort of accept that the frustrating piece is the timelines. Like Law and Order, if you actually look at the dates when they cut to in court, months go by in an hour-long show. It's very few lawyers would describe what they do as dramatic in any sort of short-term sense. There certainly might be dramatic moments in the 3 people who argue before the U.S. Supreme Court get to do some fun and cool things that are time compressed, but otherwise it's not a dramatic profession. My
wife and I are watching How to Get Away with Murder.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a lawyer, but I know this is shenanigans. She is yelling at people in the courtroom an awful lot. And there's a lot of screaming. And then also almost every case is decided because the cops were lying about something and she catches them. And I'm like, I'm sure there's some of that. But the idea that a third to half of your cases would be that the cops were being naughty is really unlikely.
Boy, is that a deep rabbit hole that I'm not going to go on a place that a wide variety of people are going to listen to.
All right, fine.
Free legal advice. If a cop wants to talk to you, find a lawyer. That is what you will learn in law school.
Okay. So that's this week in 40K for the show that is neither grim nor dark, that's about the grim dark. He's Billy and I'm Colin because someone has to be, and we'll be back next Tuesday. Bye, everybody. Have a great and wonderful week, and I hope you get some tiny soldiers on the table and roll some dice.
Indeed.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.